everybody. How are you guys doing today? Today we have a special guest, my very own giant, well not giant, strawberry that doesn't look like a strawberry because I don't have the seeds on, so it just looks like I'm holding a giant radish. Lovely. Anyway, it's half a year. How y'all doing? Some of you are not as groovy as I am. Some of you are even more groovy than I am. Either way, it's half a year. Let's rock and roll. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm sorry. We started this podcast. Well, I started this podcast to partly track how well I'm doing or how bad I'm doing, or just like a virtual diary basically of the changes in my life, what happens, how my thoughts change, how I change as a person, and if there's any lesson that I can learn through talking and through processing with you guys via words, because for me talking processes a lot better than writing or journaling for me. So far there are some progress. There are definitely progress in very major parts of my life. The health is on and off. However, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm also exercising a lot more frequently, and just overall the desire to not want to exercise is less. So I think there's some progress. I picked up a new hobby. If you can see my working space as well as all of my friends, I am surrounded by crochet things because I am obsessed. I bought so much yarn, so many yarns, just mountains and mountains of yarn. And by the time I finish crocheting all of them, I'm gonna be a grandma, for real. So I'm just prepping up for that day, prepping my hobby. By the time I have kids, I'm gonna crochet with my eyes closed. It's gonna be amazing. Anyway, been reading a lot of books. So far I think I'm going through 5-6 books already since the beginning of the year till now. Right now I'm rotating between 3 different books, and I think I'm making good progress. For someone who genuinely, for a part of my life, hating reading books, just genuinely have no pleasure in reading them, I am starting to like them a little bit, which is, it's a very confusing feeling where you're like, oh my god, the thing that I want to do, I finally have the will to do them. But then again, I've been hating it my entire life, so now that I like it, it's a very, very interesting feeling for me, I would say. Very. But yeah, I've for the past 3 days, my head is all jumbled and I have so much emotions, and the only thing I can think of is, oh, I want to read a book, something. I want to read a really nice book that'll help me unpack some of my things or unwind my head at the end of the night. I'm shocked, honestly. I'm shell-shocked. The fact that I'm seeking out books, even though I was running away from them for a good part of my life. It's great progress, I tell you. The day that I feel this way about exercising, it's gonna rain actual cats and dogs, I feel like. Work has been the same. Language learning has been pretty slow. Korean is, after all, a pretty tough language to learn. I kind of dropped the rest, like Chinese, Mandarin, Latin, and French. I dropped everything in order to focus on Korean. Because the other day, so I've told people in my life that I was learning Korean in order to progress better in my work. And a friend of mine knew this from the beginning of the year, And when we were having sandwiches, she was just like, "Oh, are you taking the test for Korean yet?" And I was like, "Has it been that long enough where she's like, oh, she should be progressing enough to like do tests now?" And I was like, I'm nowhere near that far. And I look back at how I'm learning, and I realized that truly I've been making very slow progress in order to learn Korean. I focus mostly on pronunciations, and right now I'm actually focusing more on the grammar and on the words and on like actual structure of the languages. Back and forth feelings, you know? Oh, excuse me. There's always a part of me that is conflicted about something in my life. I think that is partly because I like to see both sides of the coins and really see the big picture and really understand it, and that has been what I've wanted to do for everything in my life. However, that leads to, in some cases, very overthinking things, as well as a bit too weirdly realistic, where I'm slightly negative, and less prone to actions. I've learned over the past 6 months. I've been trying, more than 6 months I would say, because I started around October last year and it's June now, so it's more like 8 months of trying to really redo my life. Sometimes you just have to stop thinking and start doing things. I've spent my life thinking, you know. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm always that kind of person with a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions, and right now I have a pretty good idea on how to like explain myself and how to express my feelings, on identifying how the complexity of my own feelings. However, saying it and understanding it isn't the same as doing them and acting them out and making them into reality. And what happens time after time is that by the time I unpacked everything in my head, I find that satisfied the need already, so I don't do any actions. And I think that it's actually very unhealthy in a way, because my mind has sort of tricked itself that somehow the work is done when nothing has been done. So what I've learned over the past 8 months is to take things out of the book and just do it. You know, if I want to exercise, I'll exercise. Clumsy, messy, weird schedule, no schedule, whatever it takes, just do it. Do anything. Read books, read this book, that book, drop this, drop that, no schedule, I don't care. I made the act of doing whatever I want the highest priority. And that honestly has not been the way I was doing things in the past. Usually I was more like, oh, planning. Most of my effort goes into the planning, and the execution is just like means to an end, you know? Right now, the action part is the plan. And the planning is just like tweaks and preparations, you know? Something to season the actions with. Make it better. But not the whole thing. So far, it's been working really well. I used to struggle a lot with waking up early. I would wake up, notice how tired I am, fall back, and then just kind of, I don't know, scroll through my phone, or just kind of stare at a wall, reliving my choices in life, wondering why I do this. Do I still have time to exercise? Because it's getting late. The more I sleep here, the more I lie down and not get up, the less time I have for exercise. Do I still have enough time? Should I just not do it? Do I have time for breakfast? Everything. So many thoughts. At this point, I think I'm better at thinking than doing. I just had to quit. If the phone alarm go up, pop right up, dizzy, but pop right up, brush teeth, drink some water, let's get to it. I don't care. At this point, I just have to start doing things. If there's less time, if I somehow wake up a little bit later than the alarm, okay, then whatever time I have, I work out. Half an hour, fine. 45 minutes, great. An hour, perfect. 15 minutes, just do plank for 15 minutes. I don't care. I just have to do this to myself. I genuinely have to treat myself like this because this is the only way to keep me going. Sometimes you just have to stop thinking because the more you think, the more you're not doing things. Genuinely. And I overthink this a lot, and I think the same happens to a lot of people who are, a lot of my students who are learning languages also is in their head a little bit. They think about, oh, I'm saying this wrong, I'm saying that wrong, I have to learn in this way, I have to learn in that way. Oh, this way is not the most optimized, this way is really weird, it's not the best way. So many thoughts. And you know what happens? Not enough practicing. I hate to say it. It's like, it's a paradox where the chicken and the egg. It's like you need to be good in order to speak English, but then you won't be good at English if you don't speak. So I think in this case, I'm gonna give it to the speaking first and not the get good, because you can't get good in your head only. I don't actually know anybody who can get good just by learning theory and not practicing English. I don't know anybody like that. So it goes for everything else. I don't know a single person who's good at the theory of exercising and somehow is more superior than the ones who clearly consistently exercise every day and improving their craft. So I'm gonna choose to just less thinking. Whatever happens is gonna happen, but I will not skip on a day. I will not stop my schedule and my training for some reason, and I will do what is needed to get to my goal. And that is all I need to think, and I just need to grab onto that one thinking. No more overthinking, no more. Well, I say this, but I'm gonna overthink, but I'm gonna stop myself, you know? Just because it's hard to do doesn't mean you can't do it. I'm just gonna have to start like, I've been doing this, continue just fighting myself in my head. The minute I start to overthink, I slap myself in the brain. And the minute I was like, oh, what if I this, what if I that, oh my god, every day I don't wake up early enough, so I don't get a full hour of workout. Like, I just have to slap myself in the brain and be like, I don't care. Any minute is better than nothing. The minute I make excuses and everything, I slap myself in the brain. Just stop it. That is not your voice of reasoning. That is your voice of the ghost of your old habits haunting you. This is some what is it? Nightmare Before Christmas, the movie where the guy visits like a past, present, and future. Yeah, the past me is haunting me right now, in my head, constantly about every habit I'm trying to change. There's gonna be a little ghost that says, "Oh, but sleep is good for you, so why don't you just sleep?" Well, I did sleep. If I needed more sleep, just sleep earlier. This is not the time to be sleeping. This is not the time and the place to be arguing about sleep. I need to wake up and work out. That's all I need to do. If I need to study Korean, then just study Korean every day. No matter how big, how small, how little words, one word, two word, pronunciations, grammar, I don't care. The goal is to learn Korean every single day and see some results. Pretty brutal, pretty like don't care attitude, but you know, sometimes you just gotta be mean to yourself. Sometimes you just gotta be like, girl, stop making excuses, you know? And I don't want to, and I'm not gonna be saying this to everybody, being like, oh, there's no excuses, and like, oh, you can be so much better. I'm not gonna generalize everything, and not gonna assume that it's easy for people to improve their life, because genuinely, there's a lot more to this than one might think. There's a lot more than just negative thinking and self-doubt. For some, there's a lot more. For me, it's because I know what's going on in my head, and I know what's going on in my surroundings. I know this, for me, is just my thinking, because everything else is in pretty good. I'm in a state of my life where I can make these changes. There are no excuses but myself. That is why I can be this mean, and that is why I can be this like, truly, there's no excuses for me. I don't know about you. You just gotta figure that out for yourself. Maybe you're in the same route as me, maybe you're not. Depends, you know? You know what I find very interesting? When you learn a new arts and craft, say crochet, they tell you to make easy stuff. But the thing is, easy is different for everybody, because everybody will pick up this part or that part easier than everybody else. So, there's no real universal way of like, oh, this is definitely easy for you to do. For me, magic ring and anything circular is great. This strawberry was incredibly easy to do. This is just a magic ring, and then a just giant rolls, just so many rolls of circling, just circle and circle and circle. This is the work of repetitive one stitch. And then at the top, we have this very intricate like stem thingy that I was like, well, I made a giant strawberry, so how hard can this thing be? Worst case worse, I'll just wing it. I did wing it. Look at the back of this. Look at how messy this is. You can see some of the stitches are wrong, you know? But the thing is, I don't even notice it now that much. Nobody knows it. Because, well, when you look at the big picture, it's really not much. When I show this to people, they're not gonna notice that my stitches are uneven on this one leaf. I'm not gonna notice that much when I finish it. What I'm gonna notice is that I stuffed this thing to like the full as it can be, so that I can like rough house my strawberry. And I'm glad that I made this decision, because I do wanna really hug this thing. So that's what matters to me. And the fact that it's a really nice color. I don't even hate the fact that I don't have any of the seeds on them, because I think I would actually dislike the seeds. So this is actually better, you know? My point is, every time you try to change some things, some people are gonna say, or learn something, change something or learn something. People are gonna say, oh, this is the right way to do it, this is the easiest way to do it, choose the easiest way to do it. My interpretation is, choose the most effortless way and the most easiest way that it can incorporate into your life. That is how you're gonna make the change. People don't like change. Naturally, people don't like change that much. I would know. I change my life every month, and I dislike it. I'm the type of people with the slogan like, oh, life is about improving, and I hate change. Imagine how other people feel. So change is not something that is truly innate for most people. Choose the thing that will get the easiest way in your life. The things that makes you feel your nerves go up, the least. For example, I really like strawberry. So I made a giant strawberry. For me, doing something, crocheting something that I really liked, outweigh doing something that is perceived to be easy. If I have to do a tiny little keychain that is the size of, hold on, actually, to me, this thing is incredibly faster to do and easier than this little thing. And I know what you're thinking. Size-wise, this has to be easier. And because it's a smaller size, because it's a smaller yarn, you're gonna have a better time doing this? No. In my head, what makes sense to me, first of all, both are strawberry, but I like this more. I like the concept of this more. I like how big it is. I like what it serves me. A pillow that I can hug, that I can comfort myself with, versus a keychain. It's cute, it's decorative, but it's not as like necessary and calming and just like meaty, you know? I ran out of adjectives. Just leave me alone. Anyway, this to me is incredibly more difficult than this. However, when you first started to do like crochet, people were gonna tell you to do like flat things, like a coaster, or small things, like a thing for keychain. That never made sense to me. It never will. This will never be easier than this. So, take others people's advice into consideration. However, learn how to identify what will make you want to do things and what is the least resistant to your life. Squeeze that new change in until you start to like it and kind of doubt yourself why you like it, because that's what happened to me in reading. Still freaking out about that, but it's a good freak out, you know? Want to know what I did for reading? Well, I made a really cool reading checklist with like little stars on them that I can like color yellow, and at the end there's a space I leave for like a giant gold medal size that if I finish every month, I get to draw in this giant medal and feel good about myself. And I have intimate bragging rights because by the end of this year, I'm gonna finish at least 12 books. And past me is gonna pass out. Because I remember a time when I could not finish one book leisurely. I'm not talking textbooks. I graduated with honors. I can read textbooks. If you force me, if you say to me, suffer in reading or get bad grades, of course I'm gonna suffer in reading. That's not it. Leisurely reading. Recreationally reading. I have never liked reading in that way. I've never seeked out reading in that way. I'm changing my own head. I'm starting to like reading. I'm starting to be one of those people who are like, oh, I read a book once every month and I post book quotes on my Instagram, on my stories every night, like a maniac. One of those, I don't know, book lovers that are always stay in bookstores. I went to the bookstore the other day. I haven't gone in about 6 years. Yeah, I'm scaring myself a little bit about the changes in my life. I look forward to the day when I enjoy exercising. I might turn into a marathoner, or, God forbid, a rock climber. even though I'm afraid of heights, or like one of those trekking persons, even though I'm deadly afraid of heights. If I ever become that way, wow, that'd be incredible, you know? The changes that you can make to your life, that would be incredible if I ever turn into one of those people who trek and read books while they trek, apparently. And I don't know, love nature, love bugs. I'm a city girl. I don't know how feasible that is, but we'll see. Anyway, a little bit of a update, and also, I just want to brag because I feel proud about myself, and I think that you should be too. When you look from the outside, it doesn't look like I made much changes. You know, I'm not that much thinner. I thought I would be more fit by now, since the exercising is not going well. I don't look that much healthier. The crocheting is fine, the Korean is bad. If you look from the outside, it doesn't look like I'm making much progress. But the more I talk, the more you can see. So much has changed. So much has changed. Some of the changes in your life, and some of the things that you do might just go unnoticed for a long time. And I kind of want you to, you know, I encourage you to be more accepting of yourself, and to understand what you've done, even though you feel like you haven't done anything. You might feel like you haven't done anything in your 6 months of this year. I bet you have, you know. Everybody have. Everybody struggle in life, and everybody do their best. I think you do more than you think. I think you deserve more credit than you think. And a little bit of an applause for myself and for yourself for making it this far, and for making changes that will go unnoticed for years and then one day become something great. I truly believe so. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.